Welcome back once again to the Student Pages podcast. Some things never change because I am still your host, Grace Sanders. But today I'm joined by two lovely globetrotters from Kilroy Travel. How are you doing, Faye and Meg? Are you joining us from an exotic location today?
Sunny Bristol.
I can see the behind there, and I'm like, oh no, it's already getting dark. If anything, it makes you want to go abroad, which is what we're here to talk about today. So I want to ask a little bit more about Kilroy Travel itself.
So at the moment, we've just opened the first store in Bristol. So that opened last month. We're based at the top of Park Street on the Clifton Triangle. So hopefully we'll be getting some more stores open in the next few years around the UK, which is super exciting.
Fantastic. So Kilroy itself is a student-centered travel agency, and like one of the pretty much the only kind in England right now. In your opinion, what is it about like just travel itself that students want to go out and explore?
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of students want to travel either post uni or in their summers of uni because they get long summers. It's just a chance to experience new things and have some freedom away from when you've been studying, if you've had like a long year. I think it's also if you've finished uni and you've worked really hard to get through 3, 4, sometimes even 5 year courses, it's nice to do something that's just for you, focus on going and reinventing yourself outside of uni. We all know the cringe saying, like, I went away and I found myself. And I think it's true though, you do go away and you do change and you come back and you're never the same after your first, second, third travel trip.
Not at all.
No, I think it's also like we love to party. Brits love a drink, and it is that chance to have some crazy party and nightlife experiences and just carry on living out the uni years for a bit longer.
I honestly don't disagree with that. Have you two guys, have you done traveling? It sounds like you've been on 2, 3, 4 travel experiences away.
Yeah, no, we have. I kind of left school and planned a big gap year. Sadly, that was during COVID, so it all got cancelled. But I did make it out I snuck into Thailand as a volunteer. Not snuck, I was allowed, but kind of got myself there.
This is quite the platform to admit that. You're gonna go down with the Student Pages podcast.
No, I had a visa to go to Thailand as a volunteer. I had to make it out the country. I'm not doing a gap year without it. And then I went to Indonesia, did a bit of that last year, came home and was like, I need to travel, and that's what I want to work in. So yeah, I've been lucky enough. I went to Peru a couple weeks ago, and I'm heading to West Coast USA this Friday. So yeah, heading out of the rainy city over to get some sun. Yeah, no, I know, very lucky. But yeah, still more traveling to be done for me.
100%. And yeah, like Faye, I've been quite lucky as well. After I finished college, I did travel and tourism at college, and that just ignited my passion for it. So I did some interrailing for 4 weeks, fell in love with that, seeing so many different countries, and went on a bigger trip when I was 21 around the world. So got to see an amazing lot of destinations, including, Australia, Fiji, North America, and the list just keeps on growing. Especially working in this industry, you come across destinations in more detail that you didn't think would be up your street, and then you fall in love with the destination, and then you that gets added to the bucket list. It's never ending, I think, once you get the travel bug, for sure. So we're really lucky in this job. We've been able to travel. As Faye mentioned, she's off to California and then has done Peru. I was able to go to Thailand with work in May, which only obviously helps us in the job as well. So we're super lucky with that.
It's funny you say that. This time last year, I was actually making the journey from Thailand to Bali on a work trip, and then partying away on the Gili Islands.
No, yeah, you're getting paid to party. It's just cool.
Crazy in Gili Islands. Me and my friends booked to be there for a week, and at the end we were like, this has been the longest week of our lives. Like every night out again.
Gili Islands, yeah.
It was a lot.
There's only so much sun, sand and alcohol that you can take.
It's true, definitely.
So it must be so interesting working in a travel agency like Kilroy, where you get to go and plan with these students their like adventures, which is going to shape like their lifetime. What is the most fulfilling aspects of your roles as travel advisors at Kilroy? joy?
I think the most fulfilling is tailor making every single person's journey specifically for them. We obviously have certain destinations that we believe are more popular or more suitable, but actually, when a customer comes in and tell us what's going to make their trip the best it can be, whether it's a tick off their bucket list or a certain thing, for example, really wanting to learn how to surf or dive, tailoring it to each individual customer is really fulfilling, and just finding something that's going to be suitable for them is very rewarding, and I absolutely love doing it. And we can all agree that we have certain areas where we're maybe more specialists in certain places, and that's usually because we've been to the destination, and it almost brings back a nostalgia of your own trip, but then you can almost improve their trip by things you've learned from yours. So I find that's probably, in my opinion, the most rewarding part.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me as well, I get excited when I email people about their trips. Like I'm literally here as if I'm going on the trip. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till you go. Like, ring me, send me photos when you're there. Like, it's kind of living out my gap year dreams that got crushed through them. It's every time you send off a little offer to someone, you're like, that that trip's going to have such an amazing experience for them, and change their lives to go. So you can just feel the excitement from them, which I love.
So what is your like favorite place to travel being? Are we thrown around like going to North America, going to East Asia?
Yeah, for me, I do find it really hard to answer this question when people say, because every single place I've gone, I've loved for a different reason or it had a different like effect on me. I think because it's really fresh in my mind and it was a bit of a different experience. I'm gonna say Peru. It was my first time in South America. It was the first time I went away where I didn't know anyone before I left. Even though I was traveling with other travel advisors, it really shows that within a week, I felt like I'd known them for years and I was really upset to be leaving them. I was like, oh, I'm never going to get to see you again because they're all spread around the world. But it's just getting to go and tick off your bucket list. And yeah, it's definitely given me the inspiration to just do more solo travels, like not have to rely on booking with a friend. But yeah, I think that one really sticks out for me at the moment. Machu Picchu blew my mind. Like, yeah, it was just amazing to be there.
Yeah, I loved all of your videos of it, and I'm unfortunate. Hopefully, we'll be going next year. So you certainly inspired me to travel Peru when you went, Faye. My one's Thailand, for so many reasons. Lots of people love Thailand. It's a popular destination. It has been for many years, but for good reason. I've been twice now, and I would 100% go again. I did two very different trips where I got to see different parts of the country on both occasions. So with this time around, I was able to go to Koh Tao and learn how to do some scuba diving, which was just amazing. The actual inclusivity of the island makes you feel like it's this big family sort of island because it's not that big. You can get around the island quite quickly. There's obviously so much stunning scenery, not just with the beaches, but Koh Sok National Park for me was probably one of the most amazing, surreal experiences because you're on this long tail boat in the middle of absolutely nowhere, hardly any people around, and you rock up to these tiny floating bungalows and you get to kayak and swim. And it's just so immersive. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet of any kind, and you even have to take your own alcohol if you wanted a drink there. Like it's just so immersive. I remember we were just chilling, like laying in the kayaks, and we were just by the forest edge, and you could just see these monkeys swinging through the trees. And I just remember feeling so in the moment and just at peace. So for me, I mean, the cities as well, Bangkok and Phuket, there's just so much to do in Thailand. So for me, I don't go to many places more than once because there's so many places on the list, but been twice and I would go to Thailand again. So that's definitely in my mind anyway for now.
Oh, I'm very jealous. The majority of my time in Thailand was just sat in a conference centre and
Oh
thought,
no.
I would have liked to have been with the monkeys in the jungle.
Yeah, maybe next time if you get a chance again.
See, I just want to touch on what you said there, Faye, about inspiring you and giving you confidence to go and solo travel. Is that honestly, like, as much as I've been here, I've been there, I've often gone with work or I've gone with friends, and the concept of solo travel absolutely terrifies me. Do you have like any advice for students when going out traveling? Like, I know there's guides and do's and don'ts, but what's your own specific do's and don'ts as travel advisors?
Yeah, definitely. I think solo traveling can seem so like terrifying because you just think, what if I get somewhere and I don't chat to anyone? Or what if I get there and no one's around? But hostels are your best friend. Like you can go in there and sit at the table and other people bring you around. When I went to Indonesia, I booked my flights to arrive 2 days before my friends. And so I had to be by myself. And I spent one night in a hotel and I literally was like bursting. I had to go and talk to people. So I moved to a hostel and just got invited onto a table. And it was some of my favorite days in Indonesia, because it was just that ability to sit anywhere and you get on with anyone because you have this joint love for travel. But yeah, I think for do's and don'ts, we would definitely say pack lighter. I am the worst at packing. I pack everything and half of it just sits there in my bag untouched the whole time. And then I'm there like debating whether I can buy something because I'm like, it's not going to fit in my bag. And you end up lugging around like extra tote bags on your shoulders. It's just a hassle. So yeah, I'd definitely say pack lighter, leave the nice stuff behind. You lose things all the time. I was constantly like hunting around in my bag, like I've lost my watch, I've lost this, I've lost that. And I thought I just shouldn't have bought it all with me. But I'd also say you just need to have an open mind when you go. Other countries don't have the same time drivenness that the UK has, of like being quick paced and running on a schedule and being on time to everything. People are much more laid back. Things aren't always running on time. You just have to think, if something goes wrong, it's going to be a funny story in the future. And that's how I try and keep a good mindset when I'm out, is just thinking, do you know what, when I get home, this is going to be the best story ever. I'm just going to go on and on about this time
I'll
that I've
laugh
been
at that
sat
one
here.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just always thinking like, for the plot, you've just got to do it for the plot. But yeah, definitely have an open mind and be patient with other time processes in other places.
But what's really good about some of the things we offer at Kilroy is we do offer that group travel. So you could travel solo, but then join a trip for part of the way. We often do that with a lot of solo travelers, that maybe for the first couple of weeks of your trip, join a tour, get your confidence up, see how it's really going to work in that country, and then have that confidence to then go off and maybe travel solo, or probably make friends with people on that group and then travel with them. We often hear that people that do group travel and tours stay friends afterwards. So and do numerous trips after together. So that's always one thing we suggest, that solo travel can be scary, but you can always have this to help you boost the confidence for the rest of the trip. Definitely with some of the tips or do's and don'ts of travel, we always say leave the suitcase at home. It might seem like a good idea, but if the wheel falls off, you got to carry that around with you for the rest of the trip. It's much easier to just take backpack, you got your hands free, it's more comfortable. One of the other things which I certainly came across in Thailand, but also I think Faye did during her trip in Asia, can be quite hard to find reef safe sun cream. And if you're in Australia, you're doing the Barrier Reef, or you are just doing some scuba diving, swimming, take some reef safe sun cream before. It sounds like a bit of a boring tip, but actually it's super important. And especially for, we don't want to harm any of the environment when we're traveling. So it's quite important. So before you go, see if you can get that. One of the other things as well is the microfiber towels. They may not always dry you that well, but they save a lot of space and they're really light to carry. So I think that's quite a good one. One of our other fun tips is always, if you can, slow down, take a bit more time in each location, travel overland. This is just going to give you the chance to be a bit more immersed in the local communities. It's a more sustainable way of travel as well. If we can avoid lots of internal flights, you're probably going to come across a lot more things that you may not have seen if you had flown. So
I think also off the back of the sun cream, I mean, you don't want to get caught with not enough sun cream and burning, but also in some countries they put bleach in their sun cream because they don't want to tan like we want to get a fake tan or whatever. So just watch out for, if you're abroad, some places will have bleach in it, and obviously we're there for a tan. So watch out for that. Bring your own sun cream from home.
I had no idea. I would definitely bear that in mind.
No, I know.
I'm a victim of that too many times. I got sunburnt in, I believe it was the Kuta beach, so much that my head actually inflated. Oh no, I just straight up bear, never accepted it now. On the topic of planning, like how does Kilroy Travel actually go about helping students plan and prepare for their adventure?
Yes, I think with Kilroy, best advice we can kind of do is the perfect itinerary that gets you to tick off everywhere on your bucket list. You're not going to come home thinking, hang on a minute, I missed that massive tourist attraction just because I didn't realize I was in the same place or I was that close. So it's really just the ability to get our expert advice on those kind of things. We also specialize in round the world flight tickets. So finding you tickets that go to every destination that you're planning to, with it all on one document. So instead of you having like 100 flights booked with here, there, and everywhere, loads of different travel companies, we can just have it all on one ticket for you. If you run into any issues, you can message us. We're going to sort it out for you. You haven't got to waste half a day of your travel time logging into websites on your iPhone to try and sort it. Like, when you're traveling, you're bound to have some adjustments, or you want to change your flight. With student fares, you can get flexibility with your flight. So it's just having that expert advice back and forth, and even when you're traveling, we're still there. So yeah, just little bits like that that you may not think of, we do the thinking for you in that way.
Did you have anything to add on to that, Meg? 'Cause I think honestly the same thing that you mentioned about solo travel, losing your phone whilst traveling. I think it's your Bible, it's your everything, it's your soul once you're actually out there. And once when I was in Arizona, I drunkenly lost my phone in a bar and then had to go to the Grand Canyon the next day.
No.
God.
Oh,
Yeah,
I laugh about it now. I was in tears at the time.
Yeah, I bet. Your phone is your lifeline when you're traveling. So I can't imagine if I did lose mine, but it would send me into panic mode.
No, I think it is so helpful to have everything in one place. I remember when I booked my trip, it was all with one agent, and when I was abroad I did have to message a few times for this, that and the other, and it was so nice to have that level of support. When something goes wrong, you have someone else there that is still on the case for you, knows your booking because you've planned it and maybe gone back and forth over a couple of months to get something together. So I do think it's so helpful to have it all in one place. And as Faye mentioned, the admin side of it, when you're traveling, you don't want to be worrying and stressing about trying to do something, or if you lose your phone, we have all your itinerary, we have the information to maybe send it to your friend if they need to. I think it's more important than people realize, and there's nothing worse than having 10 different suppliers with 10 different booking references and not knowing which email document you've put that in and which folder. So I think that side of it is really helpful.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that as a nervous flyer and also a nervous planner in that way.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely missed a couple of things off my trip because I was adamant I could do the research and I would do it all on my own. And as Faye mentioned, there's some things that you just miss because you're still exploring, you're still learning. And I missed a few things on my travels because of that. And I've never really forgotten it. And I've always thought I'll take that into my job. Is people can be really good researchers, but actually until you know the places really well, there are some things you're going to miss. And I definitely learned that in my 8 years since I went traveling of what things to remember to book in advance and things like that. So
I think it's also like some places, if you go into like Australia, you're flying all that way. I think like if you miss something out, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go all the way back now one day to do that. You just want to get everything done whilst you're over there so that you're not having that like get home and just be like, right, well, I've got to go back one day. I didn't get to tick everything off. So yeah, just knowing everything is going to get done whilst you're there.
Fantastic. We've spoken a little bit about backpacking, living out of a teeny tiny backpack, living out of a broken suitcase, going on round the world flights. What kind of different packages and travel holidays does Kilroy Travel actually provide?
Yeah, so I mean, really, we cater for all demographic style of travel. We have that gap year for a lot of students that are just coming out of school, sixth form college. That involves, as we mentioned before, solo travel or travel with friends, the group trips that we have. We also work with working holidays. So if you are looking to maybe come out of uni or something, or just at any point, if you're within the age range that you can work abroad, we work with Australia, New Zealand, and Canada to provide working holiday programs. This is to help support you when you're over there, help with jobs, CVs to tailor it to the certain countries. We also have a lot of volunteering programs abroad if you wanted to do something a bit different and maybe get involved with the local communities and create something great. We have loads of different programs for that. Other styles of travel, like if you're thinking about road trips, you want to drive in different countries, we have car and camper van hire. So if you did want to maybe go off the beaten track yourself and live in a caravan for 6 weeks in New Zealand, we've got that. Amazing things as well about learning new skills. So learn to surf programs, scuba dive, as I mentioned, I tried out in Thailand. We also have things like learning Spanish in Latin America, which is pretty cool.
In school, I was useless at Spanish, but in my head, I'm like, if I went to the learn Spanish, that's it. I'm going to be fluent. And I'm going to be really cool then.
But also an amazing experience
is
that you've tried it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're a bit of a keen explorer, we have things like trekking expeditions, and that could be like Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro. So we've got a real range of product that can cater for all type of customer, really.
Yeah, there is we do these fitness boot camps, and when I first joined, I saw them and I was like, it's not for me at all. I don't go to the gym. And I said to Meg, I was like, who on earth wants to go abroad and do a fitness boot camp? And every time people request it, I'm still shocked. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. And I have to be on the phone like, oh yeah, I'd love to do one of those. Oh, just working out
I
in
said I would do
Bali
it, didn't
sounds
I, one
amazing.
day?
Yeah. I was like, it's just, but yeah, it is really cool stuff like that. And loads of people do love the gym. So I can see why so many people would want to do it. It's not for me. I probably would get kicked out. But yeah, it's cool things like that. Just getting to go to Bali for 2 weeks and get a personal trainer. Yeah, really cool different things you can do that you never realize you can do as well.
I feel like I say I'm old. I'm not old. I'm just not a student anymore. But a lot of people like my age are now doing like solo yoga retreats, and I
Yeah,
feel
we
like
do have a
yoga
lot of
retreats,
those.
level of
yeah,
finding
They
so
do look
popular.
really cool. We've got a
Yeah.
few in Sri Lanka, like surf and yoga. So you do a bit of both. That looks so cool. And even though I'm not interested in surfing, I can't really swim very well. I'm like, I could go and do surf and yoga. I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
No, the yoga retreats do look amazing. We
They
did
do,
a
yeah.
morning session actually on Koh Tao Island, and we did some yoga. It was the hottest yoga I've ever done. It wasn't hot yoga, it was just hot, and they had no aircon, and it was super intense, but it was amazing. I loved it. So yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's some
definitely a
really
bit of
cool
like a
stuff.
main character activity, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, like surfers are so cool. Riley, our colleague, he's just so cool all the time with his surfing and DJing, and we're like, oh, we can't be as cool as Riley. Like, you just can't compete because we
Speak for
can't
yourself.
surf. Yeah. Well, I definitely can't, but maybe Meg.
Yeah, we need to make all-inclusive hotels cool. I think that's the kind of traveler I am. I'll get there. The meals are there, fine. I'll go out when I want to, but I'll just
No,
I'll
just
I'll live for a little
for me,
bit. On that topic, I've got to ask, you must have like obviously seen a lot of people go off on holiday, but what is your least favorite travel Instagram caption?
oh,
I bet you've seen some
that's
bad
good.
ones.
Yeah, I feel like
It's the kind of classic ones like, what's your Monday looking like? And it's
I have
they've
to
gone
say,
away for 2 weeks.
I almost captioned my last one like classic Monday in work because it
Yeah.
was me on a work trip in Peru. So I would have been that person. No, what? Oh, you see the bad ones. I don't know now, but you think about it, but there's always those ones that are like,
Take me back as well
I've
is like a
literally got a
classic.
sticker in front of me that says catching flights, not feelings. That's
Yeah.
always a classic.
Yeah.
I've definitely been guilty of like work from home never looked so good.
Yeah. You've got to
definitely.
be fair.
Has to be done. But no, I like a good cheesy caption actually. I think they can be quite funny now.
If you can play on the country words, like if you can add it into
Oh
where
yeah.
you are, that's quite good. I can't think of any
Those are
now,
good.
but yeah.
No.
I was in Prague 2 weeks ago. Check this out was thrown around quite a
Oh
lot.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like
That's a
that.
classic. Yeah, a good play on words. I like a pun or a rhyme. I quite like a rhyme. I did feeling good in a bud. I thought that was quite
Oh,
good.
that's good. Yeah, feeling
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one. I love snooping on people's like photo dumps as well. Never
Oh yeah.
spoken to them.
I scroll right to the end. I don't know if everyone else does, but I'm right at the end of those.
nice.
See, I feel like I'm reliving like the student days now. So what about Kilroy actually caters specifically towards students?
Well, as a brand, we've been around for like the last 30 years. So it originated in Denmark and it specializes towards youth and student travel. It's not our only demographic. We do cater for all customers, but we certainly sort of tailor our market towards youth and students. So when we're doing when we're picking out the products and the suppliers we work with, we're trying to ensure that it's catering for exactly what's going to meet the customer's expectations. So we really do think about that when we're planning the different travel itineraries. We have some on our website that's ones we've created that we think works for the customer, but again, we can tailor make it. But also we're encouraging people to see the world in a real sustainable way that suits the company's sort of ethos. So it's essentially taking on all the time feedback off our customers. What works for certain divisions might not always work for the UK. And like we said, we've got a lot of stores in the Scandinavian countries. Every market is slightly different. So it's essentially just like making sure we've got the research to to find what suits our customers and the students there and where they want to go. We're seeing certain trends and we're always on top of that. So Japan's a real uprising trend at the moment. Sri Lanka has been for a few years now, but yeah, so we're always trying to look for what stands out and what is going to be suitable for our customers and why they'd want to book with us.
And as a multinational company, you're quite a trusted source for student traveling as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think even though we're new to the UK, as we say, we've been in all the Scandinavian countries for 30 years, and it is just having that already built up trust with suppliers in those countries. It does just mean that for us, all we have to do is learn like all the new suppliers, but we already have all this history, and it's more just Kilroy teaching us rather than a whole new brand that doesn't really know what they're doing. We do know what we're doing. It's not like we're brand new to all of this. So you can trust that when you're booking with us, it's not like some people that have just decided to start a travel business in their house.
It's a very well established company. So, the people that we're working with in Denmark, which is the main headquarters, the products team have been around for like 20 years. There's a lot of people within this industry at Kilroy that stay in the company for so long. And I think that in itself speaks volumes. The training managers, they've been there 20, 25 years. So people want to stay with Kilroy for good reason. And that only shows then that's got to be good for our customers. We're also ATOL protected, so it does mean that you're financially secure when you book a package with us. And I think that's important for a lot of people, especially with the last few years that we've had, that you have that sort of financial security. So yeah, overall, it's a new division to the UK, but they're well established working with brands from around the world. Some that I worked with previously when I was a travel agent, so familiar faces actually in the industry, which is quite nice to see.
You just mentioned you've opened your flagship store in Bristol. Can you tell me why Kilroy have actually chosen that city to open its first UK branch in?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think there's quite a lot of reasons why they chose Bristol. It's a really great city. I fell in love with the city 6 years ago and I couldn't see myself leaving. There's two big universities here. We have obviously Bristol University and then also UWE. And with that, obviously, that does mean that there's a lot of students. It's a pretty friendly place. You meet so many great people and it's such a vibrant community here. So, there's so much to offer with Bristol. And the store that we're in, located at the top of Park Street in Clifton, was actually the same spot that STA Travel had. So that was a big travel agent for the UK back before COVID. We know that this location is a popular spot. It was actually one of the best-selling stores in the UK for STA Travel. I know because I actually used to work for them. So I used to be an agent for them for 2 years, and now come full circle. 3 years later, I'm back in the same store in Bristol. So it's really great to see a company like Kilroy, which is such an amazing company with so much to offer, arrive in the UK travel market. I don't think there had been any other supplier in this market for round the world travel that stepped forward in the last 3 years. So it's really exciting, and that's why we mainly chose Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Bristol and I love the city. Like, I don't really see myself living in another UK city. Maybe abroad would more interest me, but I think that Kilroy does really suit the city. There's a sustainability focus. They want people to be more responsible when they're traveling. Don't just go somewhere to like have a drink and not immerse yourself at all. We definitely want people to go travel through places, immerse into communities, which I think is something that I really resonate with. I don't want to feel guilty traveling in a country and not knowing anything about the country. I always hate when people don't just say thank you in their language or something like that. It's just little things that are really good that Kilroy definitely, they back that kind of travel. I think it's also, we really want to support local businesses in Bristol as well. Bristol loves small businesses. Even when we had our opening party, we only used suppliers that were from Bristol. We just really want to be a part of the Bristol community. So yeah, it's really nice to work for a company that really loves the city as much as I do and Meg does.
That's so lovely to be so local as well as so international at the same time.
Yeah, it is. Our team leader's American. Some people expect us to be from Scandinavia, and we're like, Oh, no.
It's
So-
such a diverse community that Kilroy have built over the years. So it's so nice that UK are now joining their other 7 countries
Yeah,
in
it's
the
amazing.
Scandinavian market. So yeah, it's brilliant.
Just to round off today's like a final question, where is either your next planned trip? And I appreciate going to the west coast of North America, but where is the one place that you really, really want to go that you haven't been to explore yet?
I really have next year in my sights. I really want to do Sri Lanka.
I've actually got a trip to Vietnam booked. So Cambodia and Vietnam's next on the list at the end of February and March, which I'm so excited about. I've wanted to do it for a really long time. So really grateful that I'm able to do that. I think aside from that, I do have Morocco is one I haven't booked yet, but it's definitely in my sights. I think it's a country I definitely think that we're seeing a bit more popularity. Our colleague Riley surfs quite a lot out there, and I think maybe if there was some surf camps that might get created, we'll see if there's a bit more potential for that. But I think just generally that's becoming a bit more popular. So maybe something like Morocco would be on the list for me.
They both sound incredible. It's been absolutely lovely to speak with you both today, Faye and Meg. I wish you well on your travels, and I wish all the students with Kilroy Travel well on their globetrotting adventures too.
Brilliant.
Oh,
well,
thank you. It's great to chat
thank
to
you.
you
That
as
was great
well.
to chat. Thank you so much for having us.